I was today years old when I learned that all of the data that is being collected on us as voters by the Democratic Party is owned and controlled by a British private equity firm. Sit tight for just a second. This gets shady. And this may affect the 2024 elections. So every time that you and I interact with a Democrat at all, like give them money, pick up the phone, text them back, have a canvasser come to our door, that data is logged into a database. It's called NGP-VAN. It's the leading technology provider to Democratic and progressive political campaigns and organizations, nonprofits, municipalities, and other groups. That campaign software that the Democrats use is owned by this larger company called Bonterra, which has all kinds of tracking tools for people giving money to nonprofits and other causes. And Bonterra is owned by Apax, which is a British private equity firm. And we know that private equity firms have the best intentions. Apax, a private equity group with a broad portfolio of companies and both Democratic and Republican donors among its partners, has bought the whole operation and merged it with other acquisitions as Bonterra. So all of our data lives in Vote Builder, a database managed by the Democratic National Committee. Vote Builder has become the central nervous system of every Democratic campaign, housing years of information on just about every contact the party has ever made with every voter. Developed through a partnership between the DNC and a company called NGP-VAN, the tool gives campaigns the inside track on potential donors, volunteers, or voters out of a pool of thousands, or in the case of a presidential election, millions of people. So while NGP-VAN was one of the companies merged into Bonterra during the private equity purchase, it remained a standalone brand and has the monopoly on campaign tools and compliance reporting software for the Democratic Party. And just to give you an idea of the kind of people we're dealing with here, Layden, the newly appointed CEO, was asked about his priorities in his new role. People often ask me, like, what keeps you up at night? I want you to know that nothing keeps me up at night. I sleep like a baby. It's just as if I have no conscience. The reason why this is so concerning is because, one, it's private equity, and we all know what private equity wants, and that is money. And what does private equity do? They lay off people, like they did back in January at NGP-VAN. And they're doing it again. This article was from just 2 weeks ago. So right as we're going into the 2024 elections, they are making cuts to the data teams that all of the Democratic Party pretty much uses. And to make matters a little slimier, the people who control all this data can deny candidates from having access to all of our data. That's what happened in the primaries with Democrats back in 2017. Progressive candidates were not given access to the same information that incumbents were given. Thanks to an intricate system of state-by-state rules governing who gets access to the data, some Democratic primary challengers are being denied access to this critical pool of information by their own party. One of those candidates being AOC. The question we should be asking ourselves is, why does a private equity firm own all of this data infrastructure for the entire Democratic Party? How is this a good idea? How is this a good strategy? Does a private equity firm care about winning and losing elections, or do they care about making money?